I remember a few years ago I was playing in Groningen, Holland, and they added I was playing with this Ryan de Graaf trio, and they added a younger tenor player, Don Braden, you know. So all these old guys are in the corner, and they've heard me through the years. Now I'm in my 70s, you know, and they're waiting for me to fall apart, you know, like. But I know how to pace I can play with young guys, and I know how to suck them in, you know, and like I have no problem. In fact, I prefer playing with younger guys because I feel like when I play with older guys, I feel like I have to be too gentle, you know. I feel like too much respect. But if I play with young guys, you know, I'm cool, and I can just go, you know, do it. So they're looking at me and say, wow, he says, you still can, you know, they thought I would fall apart at the age of 73 or whatever it was. But it's funny. Oh, I love Randy Brecker. We have a rapport. We first played, we're about 5 years apart, but we played in some youth thing in Philadelphia. So we did a little concert, and we were put together. He was 15, I think, and I was 20. He could play the Miles's solos on Kind of Blue, and you know, he was into Lee Morgan, and his father. Through the years, we played together a lot. We had a certain, no matter, we don't play as much as we used to, but whenever we play, it's like it's still there. His father used to come up to me and say, "Boy, I love it when you and Randy play together because that's the way I like to hear him play." You know? So his father was a music fan and amateur musician. So yeah, Randy, he's like kind of a brother. I knew Michael when he came to New York as a young man, and he would come to New York and visit. Randy and I were playing in Duke Pearson's band, and he'd come by and ask me questions about little technical questions and stuff. But then he moved to New York, and we'd hang out, try mouthpieces and stuff. He's like both of them are incredibly gifted, you know, players. Michael comes from another world. He's 5 years. I think he's 5 years younger than Randy, but his aesthetic was totally different than Randy's. He came from, you know, a post bebop world, you know, and free jazz, and then into, I don't know what more contemporary stuff, whatever it was. So I mean, he was, you know, incredibly gifted and important player. Joe Farrell was like he was kind of a mentor in a way, in a strange kind of way. Because when I first came to New York, and I sat in with Elvin, he was playing with Elvin, and Elvin kind of liked me, and so he had, you know, Joe send me in when he couldn't do it, and then Joe said, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you suffer me in Thad and Mel's band?" Which I did, and then Eddie Daniels said, "Oh, well, do this. Why don't you do the same for me?" So I was playing both sides of the fence, which was great for me because my reading skills weren't great, but it was a, you know, really great experience. I never forgot the first time one of the first times I played, they were playing this tune, and I'm reading the changes. So Thad would just stop the band. I said, "Oh man, did I fuck this up?" So they had to stop the band, you know. And I didn't realize that that's what he did. So I had enough chutzpah, if that's the right word, to keep on playing, you know. And then but it was great. It was a great experience. And you know, I'd hang out with Joe. We'd go to clubs. I'd always have my horn. And he'd say, "Hey man, why don't you go play with that guy?" He egged me on, and I go up on the bandstand, and I'm playing, and I look up, and Sonny Rollins is there. I said, now I knew he set me up really good. And you know, he didn't like a lot of people. You know, he was a little standoffish, maybe arrogant, if the word. But he liked me for some reason, and we got along really well. And you know, he was a wonderful player, and you know, he had his problems, and unfortunately, but yeah, he was special. Clark Terry, talked about him earlier. He was kind of a mentor in a way too. I learned a lot from him by listening to him. You know, fortunate enough to do some gigs with him, not just in a big band, a smaller band. And Clark Terry's thing was like, he played so great that the downside of it was that it didn't matter what he played. So you have a big band or something, didn't always play the best charts, or it didn't matter, or the best sideman in certain situations, because he was so great. He didn't need anything, and like, but yeah, you know, like probably the greatest breathing apparatus in the history of brass players or any kind of players. I use him as an example. I try to tell somebody, you're not breathing. You have to breathe from the diaphragm, and you know, you look at Clark Terry, man. He could not play for a month and then pick up the horn, and when he was recovering from cancer, you know, playing the Vanguard. Randy and I went there to support him. Fattest too, and Casey, he's just been operated on and chemotherapy, all kinds of stuff, and he wasn't even attached. You know, so he's up sitting on a stool, with his head shaved, looks really fine. He's playing great. So we're up there. He doesn't need us, you know. Now he was really incredible.